Hello friends, we are Group 3 from English Education Major, Class A, that consists of 5 members. Before going to the topic, I would give some brief information about this essay. But first of all, we would like to thank our supporting lecturer, Ma'am Amra Aryani, for guiding us throughout the making of the essay. Okay, so the type of essay we have here is a division and classification essay. For the definition of this type of essay will be explained later. And for the topic, we choose some extreme traditions in Papua as a title. We have interviewed some local people and that will be explained by Chemistri.
So, before we wrote this essay, we obtained the information from sources. After that, we sought further information about extreme traditions in Papua through various sources. Then we put it into an essay, like that. We interviewed 3 indigenous Papuans to get more information about extreme traditions that exist in Papua. So, for the following questions is about what you know about tradition that very extreme in Papua, where the extreme traditions comes from, why can the extreme tradition occur in Papua? Are there any unique or interesting things in these extreme traditions? And for the last question is, do this tradition really have to be done? Then there are the answers from the informants. The next is an essay that has been neatly prepared by us. The essay that we made contains a thesis statement, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Okay, I will tell you about the first part of this essay. The first part of this essay is the thesis statement. The thesis statement is about what is extreme traditions in Papua and then some extreme traditions that namely Ikipalek, Koroi Cannibal, and Cambry tradition. Okay, the next part will be explained by Ode Julistina Toresa.
Okay guys, so the kind of our essay is division and classification essay. What's that? Okay, classifying is finding the common denominators among the idea. And division is breaks an idea into parts to be reconstructed, or simply breaking the essay into parts. The subject of our essay is the extreme tradition in Papua. We divide into 3 traditions. What's that? The first is Ikipalek tradition, the second is Korowai Cannibal tradition, and the third is Chabiri tradition. There are 3 parts, consist 5 paragraphs in our essay. The first part is in paragraph 1 as introduction. It contains the thesis. And the second part is in paragraph 2, 3, and 4. It explains about the origin of this extreme tradition, what are these extreme tradition, and the process of this extreme tradition. And the third part is in paragraph 5 as conclusion. It contains the restated thesis. Okay, the next explanation is by my friend Nurul Inayah. It will explain about the outline of our essay. Nurul Inayah, time is yours.
Okay,
In this outline, I will explain some extreme tradition in Papua, namely, first, the Iki Palet tradition. That is tradition by carried out cutting the finger. Second, Korowai cannibal is cannibalism, which is by cutting when the someone violates costume. Third, the Chemistri tradition is tradition by cutting the skin of an adult male. There are some of the exist tradition in Papua. Okay, next, Siti, Atifah, Junaid.
The topic of this essay is some extreme tradition in Papua, which include Ikipalek, Kambiri, and Korowai tradition.
The first extreme tradition in Papua is Ikipalek tradition. This tradition comes from the Yalimo mountain in Wamena. Ikipalek is tradition of cutting fingers which carried off the indigenous tribes. This tradition is carried out when the member of family dies. It is done by cutting their knuckles. The man or woman in the family must be willing to give their fingers to be cut off. If a parent dies, they must cut 2 of their knuckles. But for relatives, only 1 finger will be cut off. This extreme tradition has been done for a long time and used as symbol of harmony between families. As for the tradition process of cutting the finger, it is done by 2 ways. The first way is to cut the finger using a knife, axe, or machete. And the second way is they can bite their knuckles to break up or tie their fingers with a rope until the blood flow stops and they never die. Then they can cut their fingers off. However, this tradition has begun to be slightly eliminated by some of the people due to the modern era.
Next, I will explain the essay in the second and third paragraph. Every region in Indonesia has its own tradition, especially in Papua, which have not been touched by modern life, is the Korowai cannibal, which is more extreme than before tradition, because it will kill the citizen who violate the law and be eaten. This tradition originates from in the interior of Papua, but this tradition can only be done by certain people. The last one is the Chemistri tradition, which originates from Papua New Guinea. This tradition has a tradition of cutting skin which is considered by art. This tradition is not by just anyone and only done by a man who has grown up.
Okay, from the discussion that was discussed from our group friends and from paragraph 1 to 5, and then the extreme tradition the exist there have a very high and dangerous risk. This extreme tradition in Papua is only carried out by professional people starting from Ikipalek, Korowai, and Kambiri in this Papua. And this really terrible.
As we all know, this world has lots of unique things to explore. For example, the land of Papua, where such traditions like Ikipalek, Korowai cannibalism, and Chemistri tradition are placed. But like it or not, Things like that is part of the culture that has its own uniqueness and meaning to its own people. That's all of it from us. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.